if you have an idea, just write it on a piece of paper and mail it to yourself, because that way you have a proof of record with the government stamp on the date. So
Absolutely.
If anyone comes up with the idea after you have a proof of record saying, no, I came up with it before. So it's a good little protection. It's so simple. I mean, maybe what's the price of a stamp? 55 cents?
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset, everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer. Be sure to head over to clicksandbricksacademy.com so you can access all the resources to start improving your sales today.
Welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. Today we have Nevin Aurora with us. He is the marketing lead for Nice Pack, which is a family-owned business, third generation, making over $1 billion a year. So we get to talk to the marketing lead for the household wipes department at Nice Pack today. I think this is going to be a great episode. How are you doing today, Nevin?
Doing great, Ken. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us and sharing some of your experience with us. Super excited to hear some of your tips and tricks on marketing as you're dealing with that at a pretty large scale at your company for what most of our listeners would be used to, right? At the $1 billion mark is something that a lot of business owners aspire to get to, and taking 3 generations. What year was the company founded?
Yeah, so we were founded in 1957. It's kind of a fun story that it was just an idea that our company's founder, Arthur Julius, that had of like, as a wipe, it's a way that people can clean conveniently. So he started as a loft in Lower Manhattan and was just making the product there. And it was the birth. That was the birth of the wipes in the company.
So were there wet wipes around before that?
There might have been, but I don't think they were a big deal. I think that was the big innovation of that. We just saw it as a convenience angle and really found a way to market and make it meaningful to the consumers.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about your role with the company, when you came on board, and what you do with the company? Yeah,
so I've been with Nice Pack for about 5 years, and I am the general manager for the company's household wipes portfolio. So I cover anything of disinfectant wipes, non-disinfecting wipes, household cleaning wipes, dusters, erasers, pretty much all those products. So everything that wraps into me. So us as a manufacturer, we make private label products. We also have our own brands under Nice and Clean, Grime Boss, and Wet Nap. And then we also contract manufacture for major manufacturers. We are, as a $1 billion company, and especially in wipes, we're very large. We're the largest globally. And everyone is probably using our products and they don't necessarily realize it. Like, for example, for private label, if you use a wipe for Kirkland Signature, we make it. If you go to Walmart and you buy a wipe under Equate or Parent's Choice, we make it. So we're everywhere, and at the same time, maybe nowhere.
Fantastic. Yeah, because you're a lot of white label, but on the marketing side, and I know so many companies today are struggling in the marketing world, right? Because it's not like it used to be with all the online and stuff. And you deal with really three different products. You've got your direct to consumer, you've got your direct to, Walmart and Venture or Target. Ventures, is there even still Ventures anymore?
That's a good question. I don't think they are.
Right. So there's less of them today, but you've got I guess Kmart's still kind of around, Walmart. Yep. I'm assuming Amazon is there too.
Yep.
But then you also have the marketing
Amazon.
To your direct, your contract stuff where you're white labeling products for people. So, which is 3 different marketing campaigns that you're running all the time. And under that, there's different buyer personas under each one of those categories. That's a pretty big undertaking, right? So we don't have time today to talk about all of those things. So if a business owner today is running his business and he's either struggling with marketing or he just hasn't started at all, do you have like 3 tips of where they should really start and really focus on for that small and medium-sized business owner, family-owned business?
Yeah.
How do they get started with their marketing campaign?
Yeah. And I'll say, I wouldn't say would limit to even like small companies are starting. This is, at least my thoughts is that you can even use it as a big company or even if you're looking to refine, because it's so general, but it's so important. Tip number 1 is know your consumer. Like, not just know them, but deeply know them, like almost like you're in bed with them, like
Right.
like who, not just like demographically who they are, but like how do they use your product? What are they looking for? What is something that really excites them that can change their behavior? And then number two is just from your product perspective, making sure that what you have actually meets that expectations. The worst thing is that a consumer, let's say, wants a disinfectant wipe that kills germs in 30 seconds, and your product takes 10 minutes. That's not a fit. That's a big mismatch. So understanding your consumer, understanding your product, and then three, of making sure that the communication, it's appealing to the consumer, and that it's clear, it's succinct, and it's simple message. It's almost the acronym, keep it simple, stupid. You got to follow that every day.
Absolutely. So let's go back and let's just dissect each one of those. That first one, understanding your client. Where I fail at this regularly is that I get stuck in this whole mindset of there's only one, but there's not, right? Your product is going to have a whole bunch of them. So, and I'll just tell you what I do, and you can tell me maybe you do something similar or different. We create a whole bunch of different potential customer avatars, right? And we create them, and it's kind of a tedious process, right? But can you tell, so each product might have 10 different customer personas. Is that pretty much what you guys do too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, absolutely. I mean, especially us as a larger company, each product has different consumers on who's using it and the different features. Like we have on my portfolio for disinfecting wipes, we have a heavy textured scrubby wipe, and that is more targeted to consumers that are DIY professionals or those with heavy cleaning jobs. Then we also have a product of more of just a general all-purpose cleaning, and that's more of the mom and pop or just everyday cleaning. And I think that's the challenge of that. As you have multiple products and each one has a different consumer, is making sure like, okay, it's really staying true to that, of making sure you understand who the consumer is and getting that product to fit them, their needs. Like, don't make it too complicated and think that your product, it fits one consumer segment of, like, let's say works with moms, and you think, oh, immediately it'll work with dads or other groups of people. Don't make that assumption, because that's just where it becomes of like the market today, where you're just throwing products out there and seeing if it works, and you're just you're creating confusion with consumers on messaging.
Absolutely. So I know, the word sales funnel is thrown around all the time, and nobody like, it's thrown around really loosely. And what that is, you gain attention, you get somebody's attention, and you capture their data, and then you continually follow up with them, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with when people are pitching funnels today or talking about funnels is that all starts with the customer persona that is that ideal buyer for that specific funnel, right? So a company might have thousands of different funnels or hundreds of different funnels. I don't know if any of those have more than a couple, right?
Yeah.
Even like a local gym has a male funnel and a female funnel because they buy product differently, right? So for somebody like you, I'd imagine you'd have, the guy mechanic and then the lady house cleaner. Those are two different ads for you. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And Ken, I'll maybe speak this. Like, it's really interesting, especially being in charge of my portfolio during the pandemic. Like, totally true what you're saying of like the marketing funnel and the consumer funnel. But the pandemic, I'll say from my perspective, has totally like thrown that out of the way. The funnel is no longer a funnel. It's almost of like, well, actually, maybe it is a funnel. It's just so much wider. It's like a race car funnel of like, it's not as deep, and it's just like 5 times as wide, because now, like, where you think of the general standpoint of like selling a product in. So you have a salesperson, they reach out to the retail buyer, they're selling it in, or even from a consumer standpoint, you're selling it to a consumer, and then getting into retail, getting them to go in retail, pick the product, use it, and then reuse. That, like, the general like easy funnel. But now where it's at is like an order or a consumer a request, it can come from anywhere. So you're getting bombarded with messages. And part of the biggest challenge now is just like understanding that, okay, as you're getting bombarded with so much, like, how do you manage it? How do you connect and establish a deep connection? Because where you had maybe, let's say, 3 to 5 seconds before to get consumers' attention, now you're talking in 3 to 5 milliseconds. You just have to move so much quicker.
Absolutely. Now, Black Swan events always change the market, and this particular pandemic was a huge Black Swan event, and it definitely changed your business, and it changed Zoom's business, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that the wet wipes and the sanitary wipes were flying off the shelves early pandemic. You couldn't even get them, right? People were making them on Like there's probably 1,000 YouTube videos on how to make your own sanitary wipes that launched that first week of the shutdown. So keep in mind, folks, that when you have your product and you're staying in your lane, Black Swan events are happening more frequently, or at least they seem to, because we have better news outlets, right? We have, Katrina events and housing market crashes and all these things. All of these downturns in markets or crazy events that happen, there's opportunity in all of those, right? And they're going to happen quick. So as long as you've got in your lane and you're keeping your stuff straight, you can really take advantage of these crazy events.
Yeah, no, Ken, and I'll say, that's a huge point definitely true. Black Swan events, they're happening faster, they're happening more. And as a company, no matter small or large, you have to be able to adapt and respond. Your ability to adapt and respond it either creates an opportunity or you completely miss the marketplace. Us as disinfectant wipes, when the pandemic happened, we ramped up as quickly as possible and we got product out. But just imagine if we were not able to, we would have missed all those sales and we never would have recovered. So you got to be nimble and you got to be quick to just capture on any opportunity. It's true to it of that, especially Absolutely. As a small company, you got to be more entrepreneurial and have that mindset.
Money loves speed.
Yes,
absolutely right. So if you don't want to hustle, you go fast, right? Yeah. Slow people get the scraps, right? The guy that can move fast, he gets the lion's share. So that's very, very important tip. Yeah, so we started with knowing your customer, right? And then we knowing your product or knowing dive into that. How do you do the product analysis to know, hey, this is going to be a good product? So whenever you're going to build something today, if you have a new product, or do you launch it nationwide first, or do you do some test stores? How do you vet a product at the scale that you guys are at?
Yeah, so us as a company, because we're a larger company, we have to, when we have innovations, we have to launch it nationally. We take a strategy where we'll launch new innovations under our brand or for certain customers, and then we'll roll it across the portfolio. For smaller companies, definitely recommend as a test market, and then just learning and adapting. And I think that's an advantage that smaller companies have of that. For us to launch nationally, it's quite expensive to fail, where if you're a smaller company, you can launch in a test market, you can fail quickly, learn and adapt and keep on changing and evolving. And I think that's one of the that's part of the entrepreneurial spirit of that, what you really need to be able to adapt fast. It's all about get your product on the marketplace as quickly as possible, learn, get people to react to it, learn and then adapt and then refine and keep on improving.
Right. So you said get your product to market as fast as possible. Now, I'm gonna rewind there. I'm gonna try to just beat that up a little bit because we've had a lot of patent talk in the past, and I'm assuming that wet wipes today aren't a patentable thing.
There's technologies behind the wet wipes that are patentable. Okay. We have, I'm not talking design patents. I'm talking utility patents of formulation. There's a lot of the science that goes behind the wipe that you just don't realize, but are very important.
So the specific chemicals that might extend shelf life or moisturizing and things like that. So the recipe might be patented, but the idea of a wet wipe, it's been around for a while. Even if they got a patent in the 50s, that patent's expired by now, right?
Exactly.
So, and I have this problem with a lot of people. They want to hide what they're doing, right? Now, if you have to hide it so much because it's so easy to replicate, don't do that business unless you just love that business. If it's so easy to replicate that just anybody can do it and you're afraid to say it out loud because somebody can steal it, stay away from that business.
Or even another side, if it's so easy to do it, why hasn't someone already done it?
So, those kinds of things, don't be worried about talking to people about your idea. If you don't talk to anybody about your idea, it's never going to happen. I promise you've got to get out there. Just worry about speed. So if you got something super innovative that's really hard to make, and you really want to go down that patent path, go ahead. But it is a long, tedious path, and you better have. My estimate is on the low side, $10,000 to do a patent. But I think you should have $100,000 in the bank, ready to go against that. And I would rather take that $100,000 and defend my position some other way than with the patent in most cases, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, 100,000, not out of the realm. And then you're talking years to get a patent approval. And just imagine with that much money and time, how much you could have gotten prototypes in the marketplace and gotten feedback and got a better product out of the end.
Right. But for a few $100s, I think you could submit your application.
Yep.
And you got it locked up for a year at least. So that gives you a year to run, and you don't have to actually execute on the patent after that. So if you have an idea and you're really worried about it, get that 1 year protection and give it a shot and give it a good college try. But don't think that you have to have a patent. If you're not talking about your product or your idea, you probably won't ever get it to market. It's just a sad fact because you're not going to get the support from the people that you need.
Yeah.
Right.
And Ken, maybe I'll give this like to your listeners of a word of advice I always give my friends is that if you have an idea, just write it on a piece of paper and mail it to yourself, because that way you have a proof of record with the government stamp on the date. So if anyone comes up with the idea after you have a proof of record saying, no, I came up with it before. So it's a good little protection. It's so simple. I mean, maybe what's the price of a stamp? 55 cents. That's all it takes.
Absolutely. And I know I have probably 1,000 pieces of paper that I've mailed to myself sitting in a file cabinet of stuff that I just thought was a good idea, some movie scripts and things like that, some stories and stuff that I've written.
I do that too. But at the same time, I also tell people, if you have $1 billion idea, tell me first.
Absolutely. And then what was the third tip?
I mean, I guess like third tip is, now I'm drawing a blank. But
was it pricing?
It was, I guess, let's say, understand the product market fit. I mean, so now you understand the consumer, you understand the product. So so definitely pricing and the fee and how to communicate it. You want to make sure that number one and number two are clicking with the consumer.
Absolutely. And so the best way that I know how to describe that particular set of scenarios is when you walk, if I have a hole in my wall, right, I'm not going to Home Depot to look for mud and tape and sanding paper and all those things. I'm going to there to look for a solution to fix my hole in the wall, right? So sell them the solution to fix the hole in the wall, not all the components to do that. And Wet Wipes does that phenomenally, right? Really, really well. It's a solution that solves a problem very, very specifically and precise. So that I think, in the 50s, that was a fantastic idea. And I think there's probably Wet Wipes in every woman's purse on the planet.
Oh, I mean, I know there's everyone has it.
Yeah.
Everyone has it.
Fantastic. Before we wrap up today, if you were to look in the future and think about how technology might change your business or industry or other business or industry, do you have any insight for the viewers on what they should be thinking about tomorrow? And, how are things going to get better? Maybe they get worse. Who knows?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, to the viewers, I'll say two themes, and we kind of talked about a little bit about the need to be fast and nimble. I mean, in terms of consumer trends of what we see, like the biggest trend, which has been happening for a few years, and we expect it to accelerate, is the better need for personalization and meeting consumers' needs. I mean, as now people are able to go e-commerce, they can find a product that suits the need that they're looking for. So as a company, you have to be able to reach these consumers and be able to be adaptive to make of, let's say, if you have one consumer that is looking for a large box of, let's say, 500 wipes, and then at the same time you have a second consumer who's looking for like single packs of like only 5. You have, as a manufacturer, if you want to get that business, you have to be able to adapt, be nimble, and meet those needs. So really understanding your consumer and the personalization aspect will be key for the future.
Absolutely. And with the tools coming out today, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things, you can really narrow down to the exact person that you're looking for. And you can do, like, on the marketing side, to get this information, I love surveys, right? You can do a Facebook survey to a certain set of people, and they'll fill it out. Like, hey, take this survey, make the questions kind of fun and quirky, and they'll fill it out. And then now you're building customer data, you're building customer persona, and you got their contact information. You know more about that person, so it's going to be a lot easier to get them what they need. It's
amazing. I'll tell you, we utilize IRI. And so, I mean, just from a shopping avenue, like we're able to see pinpoint, let's say, specific locations, like what people are buying at a store, and then what else are they putting in their shopping basket. And then we can see like how that varies from store to store, region, day to day. And we can really get a great picture of just of the shopping behavior and where people are moving. And you can almost like tell also like when you do an ad of just like, okay, how that impacts what people are doing. So it's amazing the data and the technology that's out there.
Fantastic. Yes, I think we're in an age of new technology, new things coming out, and I think the printing is getting way cheaper. The able to make your dies is a lot cheaper today with 3D printing and CNC machines getting there. The customized products for highly customized, really, really, really niche. I mean, I'm shocked that we don't have, wet wipes for dog paws yet, right? Because that the dog lover community is really deep. So, and I think those kinds of things are coming. And if you hit that, I just want a small commission.
You take a piece, I'll take a piece.
So if you're a business owner today, or you have an idea and you want to make your own wet wipe product, right? NicePack is a great way to get started. And if they wanted to do that, Nevin, what are a couple ways that they would do? What are things that they would do to get started?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the easiest, probably the most direct way is just send me a note. My email is Nevin, Nevin .Arora, ARORA, at NicePack, spelled NICEPAK.com. We also, as a company, we have our own website, nicepack.com, our own brands, Nice and Clean, Grime Boss, Wet Nap. Go on any of these sites and just click the contact us and submit a request.
Fantastic. You submit a request, somebody come back, and you just start pitching ideas, right? Yep. Whatever you want to do before that, if you want to, jot your ideas down and send them yourself in the mail. If you want to contact an attorney, get a trademark, whatever you need to do that. Talk to your lawyer, talk to your partners, make sure you have all those ducks in a row. But if you have a wet wipe idea and you want to get it to market, NicePack is an easy solution. I guess you would be the easy button for that process, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're here to help you out. So if you have an idea, just contact us and we'll do our best.
Fantastic. Before we go, Nevin, do you have any words for the audience?
No, I mean, Ken, I just say thank you for the opportunity. It was great to join. And I'd say like just reinforcing the themes, go fast. Like speed is of the essence, especially in a post-COVID world. So don't take the risk. And I guess the biggest challenge is the yes, but, or a what if crowd. Don't be that. Just go.
Right. And I guess the easiest way to do that is just drop your judgment of yourself, right? You're going to make mistakes. That's going to happen. Just keep running. Don't worry about yesterday's failures. Learn from them and keep running forward.
Yeah, so, I can't remember who was it? Was it Thomas Edison of 1,000 failures, but each one is an opportunity. So
absolutely,
as you fail, you learn and you get better.
Thank you, Nevin.
Yep,
that's it for today's show, folks. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you want to join my text line community, it's 314-370-2871. Get to work.